What's happening, everybody? I'm Allie Burns from Picks and Parlays, and you're here for another round of total chaos. We're talking some college hoops, mid-major action here, none of the big guys. We're talking little schools where we all like to make our money. Before we get this party started, I want to remind everybody about our sponsor, Caesars Sportsbook. Y'all want to check out the description of this video? You're going to find a link to Caesars. Click on that link and get yourself signed up. They've got an $1,100 promotion for you. It's free bet insurance. So with your first bet, up to $1,100, if it loses, that's okay. They're going to pop that money right back into your account in the form of another bet. So definitely check out the description of this video to find that action. With me today, I've got some newcomers into the Total Chaos ring. Scott Reichel, is it? Reichel?
That is correct, Reichel.
Okay, I practiced
Just
that
call him Rachel.
beforehand,
He'll get
and,
over it.
I should have practiced for a minute before we got going.
So hard on my name. You got nothing, Rachel.
It's supposed to be a total chaos show, so I was going to let her figure it out.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair. Scott Steen, how's it going with you, friend? This is the Winners and Whiners crew here on the show today. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing well. That's such a great pronunciation. Thanks for taking all the time and none for Rachel. I appreciate it.
I did my best. And Chris, is it King? Chris King, right?
They just call me the boss. You know, I took over for Bruce Springsteen. These guys are flunkies. That's why they're the B team.
That's fair. All right. So we're going to get this party started. If you haven't seen Total Chaos before, here's how it works. I'm going to give them 5 college basketball games. They're going down this Wednesday, March the 9th. These guys tell me if they go over or under, and whoever gets the most correct comes back as the Winners and Whiners Total Chaos champion. Are you guys ready to rumble?
I believe I'm the only one that's been here before, so that makes me the champ.
I'm trying to work up the enthusiasm.
You tied with the guy you went against, though. You guys put.
Well, right, but these guys haven't been on, so technically that makes me the champ over them.
All right, you're at the top. You're going first. Then you sold me. All right, we're gonna kick it off with SJSU at Fresno State. A little Mountain West action. The total is 122. Chris King, is it going over or under?
I think it's going over. I mean, the first meeting between these teams at Fresno was 138. Then you had 116 in the second game. But if you look at the last 5, San Jose State's average total is 128.8. Fresno State's is at 127. And if you look at over the course of the season, San Jose State's average total is 136.6. And even Fresno State, with their good defense and no offense, comes in at 123.5. I'm looking for this to go over 122, end up somewhere in the high 120s.
All right, Scott Steen, what say thee?
I've got it over too. I think this is a great buy low spot on this Fresno State team. Make no mistake, this team is, if you like to watch paint dry, this team may be a little too exciting for you because they are absolutely drag ass in pace. I don't know if I can say drag ass, but that's what
you already did.
Well, you did.
Just
now.
keep rolling.
They're the Bulldogs, so they do that little scoot thing with their butt. Now they're 356th in pace. That's 3rd worst in the nation. Chris is like this. They play pretty good. They play good defense, 22nd according to Ken Palm. But I'm worried that they're just not going to be able to stop San Jose State enough. Because San Jose State, like Chris was talking about, they put up 59 and 43 in the first 2 meetings. So we're going to have to get enough out of them. But this Fresno State team, San Jose State can't stop them. I've got the over. I think it's a great buy low spot on Fresno State. I think you put them somewhere in the neighborhood of mid 70s, 75 to 76. And even this horrible San Jose State team, I think they can get to 55 or 60. We should go well over the total.
I thought it was supposed to be 3
squad,
bullet
San Jose State. I will say that. I did play to the last minutes of games where they're losing by 30. So I do respect that about them. What do you got on this one, Scott R?
Well, it's unfortunate that it's a total chaos show and we all got the over, but I got the over. There's really no way around it. 10 of San Jose State's last 11 games have gone over this number. Fresno State has scored at least 73 points in each of the first 2 meetings. At the end of the day, I know Fresno State likes to play extremely slow, but offensively, they just have done whatever they wanted against San Jose State. I'm not going to really say anymore because I feel like every other bullet point was covered, but I like the over.
It's tough to stop Orlando Robinson, especially when you're San Jose State and you don't have anybody of size.
Yeah.
So there's that too. Yeah. So it's actually a good thing when all of our cappers agree, because those consensus picks tend to be the most valuable on the show. They're just less entertaining to hear you guys talk about, but no big whoop there. Because
what about you? What about you?
What about me? I would have to go over on this one as well.
Less than total chaos.
So we've got Hartford at UMBC 146.5. Steen, you're going first here.
I've got the over. This is the only game that I didn't. I kind of started preparing late for this one. I missed it on my sheet. But this UMBC team, the defense has struggled all season long. The offense has finally started to put it into gear. They've scored 92 or more in 3 of their last 4. We've seen the over cash in 6 straight. And I think Hartford, good team, but I think their defense lacks just enough to put us over this total. I don't think it's going to go over by a bunch. First one landed, they've landed 132, but both those teams shot really poorly in that game. The second game landed 177. I like the over in this one as well.
I just saw the score on the Wagner game.
Hope you didn't have Wagner.
I sure did.
I took Brian, so how bad is it now?
Trying to in-play. Might be trying to do some in-playing. All right.
Rachel loved Wagner there, by the way.
I wouldn't say loved, but I definitely looked into them.
I have them in a teaser getting 8 points. Okay, so I didn't take them straight up minus the 3.5. I do have them in a tease. Go ahead, Rachel. What do you got on this one?
So I don't know how to feel since I also have the over, and Steen looked over this game for about 20 seconds, but I got the over as well. UMBC ranks 103rd in pace. Yeah, Hartford ranks 172nd, so I do expect to see a decently up-tempo game here. Both teams also rank top 200 in offensive efficiency, so both these teams actually know how to put the ball in the basket. And as Steen said, the last meeting at 177, I expect both teams to do pretty well offensively here. It wouldn't shock me if one of these teams got to 80 with all the fouls late, but I do think eventually this game should land in the 150s.
All right. And Chris King, what do you think?
Now, see, this is where I differentiate because these two share one brain, which is why everything you get is exactly the same on every single pick.
Right.
I'm going under. Earlier this morning, it was at 149, so I see it's gone down. But still, with all the offense that UMBC has had, if you look for the season, Hartford's average total 142, UMBC's at 146.7, and conference play, both teams average under 144. Even if do you think it's going to be a track meet like you saw the last time? I'm not seeing it here. We saw Hartford shut down Vermont, and Vermont is the best team in the America East by far. I think this one's going to stay under the total.
All right, so we disagree. We've got Vermont to talk about next, actually. They're playing Binghamton. Binghamton. Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. It's going to be a 135.5. And who's going first? I believe it is you, Rachel.
Yeah, I like the under here. Vermont, we know, likes to slow the game really to a crawl, and they also play pretty good defense. Vermont ranks 274th in pace. Also, the 2 regular season meetings, Binghamton cannot score against this team. Binghamton has averaged 50 points per game in the regular season against Vermont. And if you look at the regular season meetings, both of them went under. I expect Binghamton to struggle reaching 50 again in the spot. And even though Vermont might get to 70 or might even get to 75, if Binghamton's not really going to come close to 60, I see this going under.
Okay. What about you, Steen?
I'm going to play against the trends here and agree with Rachel. This is a Vermont team that's going to be playing at home for the conference tournament, of course. They're 10-3 to the over at home, 14-5 to the over in conference play. However, the exceptions to that has been the one of the games that they played. The first meeting that they played, actually both meetings went under, and first one landed. Good chat. First one landed 133, the other one landed 125. Or excuse me, 115. I'm with Scott. I don't see Binghamton doing enough here. They put up 49-1, 51 in the other contest. Vermont can still get to 80, and this is still going to go under the total. I don't see Binghamton being able to muster much offense at all. Both of these teams play relatively slow. Binghamton's average 167, Vermont 274. But where they really fall off is the difference in offensive power. Binghamton 311 offensively, and Vermont good offensively and good defensively as well, 96 according to Ken Palm. Neither one of these teams shoot very much at all. Vermont, by the way, takes just 55.4 shots per game. That's 276 in the country. So they make them count. They shoot very well, but I just don't see them being able to do all the work of both teams here. Give me the under.
All right, I'm with you on this one. I was with you on the last one, though, Chris King. I think that Hartford stays under. I think there's just been a lot of overs played in a row. What do you think about this one? Binghamton 135.5.
Well, I
Sarge, I
mean,
got you out of your order there, too.
we've talked about Vermont all season long on the show, and I think it's going to stay under. If you look going back to 2016, 12 of the last 13 meetings between these teams have fallen under 135. Like Scott said, Vermont's 18th in the nation in scoring defense, and Binghamton's just 246th in scoring offense at 68.6. Last 5 games, Vermont's only allowing 56.8 points per game for a total of 134.2. Binghamton's allowing or has a total in the last 5 of 134.4. And I agree with both those guys. Binghamton's not going to score any points. Vermont's going to win this game in a blowout. They're probably going to cover the 20.5 or whatever it is, because that's what they do in the America East, to blow people away. And but this one's going to end up short of the number.
All right, so there we have it.
Apparently, you blew Steve's mind so much that he had to leave the actual show for.
I don't know what happened there, but I'm back.
All right, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
So we're going Delaware State at Norfolk State, 135.5. Chris King, you go first this time. I had you out of your order. You take it away.
I'm looking for this one to go over. If you look at the way Delaware State, their 2 wins this year over non-Division I teams, and everybody else, they usually get blown out. In their last 5, they're averaging 69.2 and giving up 76.4 for an average of 145.6. Norfolk State's averaging almost 77 points a game while allowing 62 for a total of 138.8. On the season, Delaware doesn't score 62.6 points a game, but they give up a lot of points, 73.5. Stan Waterman, I don't know how he has a job at this point. Norfolk State, 68th in scoring offense, 36th in scoring defense, but their average total is 139.3. And even in conference play, Delaware State season average of 136.4, Norfolk State 140.9. I look for this one to end up over the mark, not by a ton, but it's going to get past 135.5.
All right, Steen, what do you think?
Nope, not at all.
Wrong.
First of all, I want to know who's driving from Dover, Delaware. By the way, it's a 3-hour and 40-minute drive. I checked. I want to know who's going to drive and see this team that hasn't won a D1 game all season long. Now, this is allegedly in a neutral spot. It's in the arena there, but it's in Norfolk. So it's not where Norfolk plays. Norfolk normally plays in an arena of about 4,500. They're going to be facing off in an arena that holds 11,000. So there could be a little bit of an adjustment as far as sight lines go. It's one of the things I always want to look at when these mid-majors or even small mid-majors are moving into a bigger venue. We've seen it in the Missouri Valley more than any other conference, but it also holds true for a lot of these other games as well. And Chris was absolutely talking, because you're going to get no help at all from this Delaware State team to score. They put up 43 in the first meeting. That was at home for Norfolk. Now on the road, as far as Norfolk going on the road, when Delaware State was at home, they put up 66. That game landed 135, which was a 1.5 over the total. I don't think we're going to see anything close to 66 from Delaware State. I've got them about 52 in this one, and I just don't think there's enough meat on the bone for this good Norfolk team to beat them by 30. So I will take the under 135.5. Again, I don't think it goes very hard under, probably somewhere in the 130, 131 range, but I'll book the under.
So you don't think that Norfolk State will beat them by 30, even though they beat them by 29 on the road in the first meeting?
No, they beat them by 3 in the first meeting. They beat them 69.
Second meeting.
Second meeting, they won by 3. The first meeting, they won by 29.
Yeah, they beat them by 37 at home. But again, this isn't a home game. It's not their home court, not their familiar sight lines. Let me knock off 10 points for that.
All right, a whole 10. What do you think about this, other Scott?
I'm going with the over, because I think that there's a very good chance Norfolk scores 80. And I'm looking at a situation where, even though offensively Delaware State is awful, they did score 66 points in the second meeting against Norfolk. So they might have potentially found anything offensively against this defense. But Norfolk State really did not shoot the ball well at all in the second meeting. Still got the 69. They scored 80 in the first meeting. I really expect Norfolk to get to 80 here. And if that's the case, I think Delaware State can do enough to get to 56. I'm looking at something in that ballpark, probably 78 to 60, something like that. But I think it'll eventually reach the high 130s, low 140s.
Yeah, come on. Delaware State's been on a roll scoring points. They had 79 and lost to North Carolina Central, 74 to South Carolina State, 69 against Morgan State, 67 against Coppin State. So, I mean, all of a sudden they scored points down the stretch. They didn't win any games. But,
You can't ask them to do everything, you know.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. That's what happens when you're 2-25.
The under is 10-7 when Norfolk's a favorite, and it's 12-10 when Delaware State's a dog. I'll ride the
Okay, and the
I
over
like
is
the under here too.
There you go.
Yeah, I like the under on that one as well.
Get on the
being
under train.
honest. I'm the Undertaker. All right, so we got Coppin State at Howard, 149.5. This is the last game of the round.
You had to bring this game. You had to bring this matchup back up, didn't you?
I'm sorry that I beat you on a free pick video on your own show when it
But
came
that's okay
to this
because I
game.
beat you. I beat you on Friday when you weren't on the show, and Lenny told us about your teaser with San Jose State.
That was a Craig trap play, actually. If you want to know the truth about that, that was a Craig
Chris,
trap
I don't
play.
get
It was
it.
a
You
ton
just
of points, and I like the look ahead angle. I'm big on the look ahead angle. Okay, Scott, go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to ask. Chris just brought up beef where you owned him in a pick and he's complaining about it. Is that what's going on?
We talked about Coppin State and Howard last week. I thought Howard was actually going to, play basketball.
The details don't really matter. I'm just making sure I got the overall story of the.
Yeah, but even out because now she's pawning off the fact that San Jose State lost last week on Craig.
That wasn't even
here
my
to defend
pick.
himself.
Neither was the Magic.
I'm looking through the notes and I don't see where that's relevant in the.
But I will say that the 3-team teaser that I gave out on your show, both times, those have both cashed. So I've got a lucky spot on the Just Parlays show with giving out my teasers because they cash. So boom, boom, boom.
Well, as for this game, sorry, I just had to point that out. I'm going with the over for 149.5. This line actually confuses me because I felt like this was going to open up in the 150s. Each of the two regular season meetings went over and had at least 164 points. So if you're expecting a regression, that's one thing, but you need a minimum of about 16 points of regression. That's a little bit much to ask for. Plus, Coppin State and Howard both like to go really up tempo. Coppin State ranks 6th in the nation in pace. Howard ranks 31st. And both these teams are not very good at defense. Howard ranks 249th in defense efficiency. Coppin State ranks 205th. On principle, when two regular season meetings have at least 160 points and you open a total in the 140s, I'm going to take the over.
All right. What do you think about it, Steam?
I got to admit, I really don't understand what they were doing with the line because this first meeting landed 81-83 with a total of 158. Goes over by 6. The next meeting, it's 148.5. They dropped the total almost 10 points. It still goes 168, goes over by 19.5 points. Again, I don't think this number should be anywhere near something that starts with a 1 and a 4. I've got the over here as well.
All right, over we go. And oops, Mr.
See, I'm going to go the other way because I think
I'm with you on this. I think it goes under. All right.
I think because for all the talk about how Coppin State scored 80+ points in both those games, you still have to take in consideration they're 341st in offensive efficiency. They're 331st in effective field goal percentage, and Howard's biggest issue is giving up offensive rebounds. But guess what? Juan Dixon's team doesn't know how to rebound. They're 351st.
In the first two meetings, what happened?
They didn't rebound.
I'm just saying because you threw out, some stats. Except the two meetings, they got to 80. So I'm asking,
what's going to change? I think that's what he's asking you. What's going to be different about this game?
Teams are going to go back to the norm. If you look in the last 5 games, even with that 86 points Coppin State hung in that game against Howard, they're still only averaging 66.8 in the last 5. Howard's only averaging 72 in the last 5. Both teams come in that stretch. Coppin State allowing 74.2, Howard allowing 72.8. Both teams, if you look at that, that gives you Coppin State averaging 141, Howard averaging 144.8. Even in conference play, even with those high matchups, Coppin State averaged 141.2, Howard 146.3 in the conference. Sure, they may have had track meets, but do you really expect, if you look at the numbers of what Coppin State did in that last matchup, do you think Coppin State's going to hit 15 of 28 from 3 when they were 356 and 3-point shooting?
I think my main point was that the fact that it's even in the 140s, it's going to close in the 150s. I don't really know where undermoney's going to come in from. I don't know where you think this line's going to close.
Well, these two right here, for starters,
149.5 is pretty generous if you like the over because it's probably going to close in the 150s. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
Do you see undermoney on this, Chris?
What's that?
Do you see undermoney coming in? Do you think this total actually drops?
I think it was 150 this morning when I looked it up. So it's actually moved a little bit. But like I said, if you look at the numbers, I don't see Coppin State shooting that well from 3-point range. It's just like that game with San Diego State last week where, they hit more threes than they hit twos.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in that game. If you look, Coppin State, 11 of 24 from two, 15 of 28 from three. Howard hit 11 threes. Neither one of those teams are perimeter shooting teams.
What happened in the other game?
Let me look, because I didn't check the one from January yet.
Okay.
Yeah, Howard was 13 of 25 from three.
So an optimist would
right.
say apparently they shoot really well against this team.
Well, I mean, let's not take anything away. Coppin State is not a good basketball team. They're 7 and 22.
Yeah. That's part of it too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's do a little bit of recapping. I'm with you, Chris. I like Coppin under also. So let's do a little bit of recapping. I want to remind everybody first to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. If you're looking for me, I'm Allie Burns. You can find me over at Plus Money Honey. And if you're looking for any of these knuckleheads, you can find them over on the Max Wagers Network. Chris King at Betting Royalty. Tell the people at home, what do you do and how do you do it? When do you do it? Where do you do it? Lay it on us.
Well, Jim Williams and I have just parlays between 2 and 3, so we follow you now on the network. Most of the rest of the time, you'll see me, writing incessantly 75 billion articles a day for winners and whiners or stats, all depending on what I'm assigned for that afternoon. Right now, I'm working on the SEC tournament and the MAC.
The old Mac attack. All right, I like it. Scott Steen, what do you got going on for us? Where can we find you and when?
Well, we do our show once again on the Max Betting Network. We do it 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I team up to do our show currently with the working title of Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott, although there's rumors that may be changing. So the show time won't, the show name will. I do a daily video every day over at the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel. And I do have a premium service available through the Winners and Whiners website if you're interested in getting some more of my best picks.
Beautiful. And find him on Twitter at Steenroller. Scott Reichel, Scott R, the other Scott. How do you deal with this one all day long? Is it just, is it Xanax?
It's impossible.
Heavy drinking?
So you forgot one part. I only have to deal with him for about 2 hours. So the rest, I can ask the same question to his family, but I'm hanging out with him for 2 hours and then I'm doing my own thing after. So I can somewhat handle it.
That's fair. Well,
He also takes a lot of naps.
Yeah.
A lot of naps.
Well, Scott Steen does have a story for basically every situation. So,
I'm kind of that same person though, Scott. So I'm not even mad at you. My dad always said, he's like, you don't know a whole lot about one thing, but you know a little bit about everything.
I'm wide and shallow. That's exactly right.
Yes, wide and shallow. I like that.
Like a ditch.
I like that. So find these guys on YouTube. They're Winners and Whiners. Also subscribe to the Max Wager Network. It's on YouTube. Winners and Whiners has merged with us here at Picks and Parlays. We're one big happy family called the Max Wager Network. So definitely like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications on all of our different platforms. Let's do a little bit of recapping. We've got SJSU, Fresno State, 122, and everybody's taking it over. Remember, the consensus plays tend to be the money-making plays on the show. So those are the ones to follow. We've got Hartford at UMBC, 146.5, over out of the Scots, but Chris King is taking it under. We've got Binghamton at Vermont, 135.5. We all agree this one goes under the total. Delaware State at Norfolk State, 135 and a hook. Over, under, over. Scott Steen is the undertaker on this one. I like that under too. Coppin State at Howard, 149.5. We've got over, and Chris King is going under. That's the way we're playing this round of Total Chaos. Thank you all so much for joining me. It was a lot of fun, and I hope to see you all back again next week when we do it all again. And like I always say, may the best capper win. Good luck, everybody.
Thanks, Al.